20 years, that's how long we played the roles. Wife, mother, partner, provider, until it all changed.
We honestly didn't see it coming. Then again, maybe we did. But divorce didn't break us, it rebirthed us.
Now we're navigating motherhood, healing, dating,
friendships, religion, and sharing how we started over.
This is Uncharted Phases, a podcast for anyone starting over and owning every step.
Hey, Alyssa, episode 1.
I'm so excited.
I'm so
Been waiting for
excited.
this for a while.
I know, which actually, let's talk about that. So what is Uncharted Phases? Like, why are we doing this together? How did this even start?
I think that's so fun, is that I was like heartbroken on my Instagram and you reached out to me, Melissa.
Yeah.
I can see in your stories. Like, I'm seeing everything you're feeling right now. And I was like, really? Is your heart broken too?
And it was.
Yes. I love it.
I know.
We hadn't chatted for a while, though. Like,
no.
What?
I mean, yeah, I hate to say years, but it almost
No, I
is.
really
Like,
think
it's
so.
off and on, like, but maybe I would say through Instagram only.
Besides little, like, comments here or there,
yeah.
we hadn't talked for probably years.
No. I mean, even when let's see, when did you go through your divorce?
You'd be like, it was 2 years this March.
Okay, so
well,
I never even asked you anything about that. So that would be how long we've had, like, deep
This is true, 'cause
conversations.
when I heard you were getting divorced, I remember messaging you and being like, hey, I heard, so sorry. But at that point, I think I was I knew I was getting divorced also, but it wasn't like.
Yeah. Did my divorce shock you?
It didn't shock me, but I feel like it's because I felt like my divorce was going to shock everyone too. So I'm like, I kind of can see like, oh yeah, well.
Yeah.
How
your divorce, it did. It did.
My divorce.
Yeah, it shocked me. I was like, no.
I know.
And then at the same time, it was like, you know what? It gave me that perspective of like, hey, you never know. You don't ever know.
That's what made me not be surprised, is because everyone has like this whole idea of me and my ex.
Yeah.
And it was like,
no, 100%.
No, we're just frauds.
Yeah. I know that
frauds,
really same.
I mean,
fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've learned. All of it is. It really is. You fake it until you just can't make it anymore.
Yeah.
That's
so
really...
you've been divorced for like, what, 6 more longer? Oh, wait.
I started my divorce almost 3 years ago. It will be 4 years this November. So 3.5 years ago. But
I think I got divorced before you did.
Because yours was willing to get divorced. Mine wasn't.
Yeah. Which I think is going to be so fun for us. And
I know.
We have like complete opposite.
Yeah. No, we really
scenarios.
do. Yeah. But then there's also some similarities too, because so that's what I think attracted me to like wanting to reach out to you, because when you go through this, you're either really private, passive aggressive, aggressive, but you every now and again would put something on your Instagram in your stories that made me feel like, okay, this is a vulnerable person. I would say, even though you probably would think like you and Jake, maybe that part was, fraud's not the right word, but the fake it till you make it situation. Yeah. But you yourself, I feel like, have always been an open book.
Yeah, I feel like I'm that way with a lot of people. A lot of things, actually. Like, I kind of am more of a personality of like, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, but this sucks. So, I don't know. I feel like me and Jake can be really good friends, but like partner-wise, people didn't understand that it didn't work that way for us. So people saw like the friendship that we had and just
100%.
thought, everything's great. They're as happy as can be.
Yeah.
Which, like we did fun things. We did fun things with our family and fun things together, and we could have fun together.
Yeah.
But there's so much more, obviously, to having a marriage. So
it's funny. That's what I always said, that I liked vacation, Dave. I didn't find out until after the divorce was final. My family did not even like vacation Dave. My kids did not even like
Really?
vacation Dave. No. And I didn't mind him.
Yeah.
But it was, in the real world. And the craziest thing, which, we'll get into later down in the episodes, but I mean, we were friends first.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that that was the right foundation. But now I start to wonder if it's maybe you need chemistry first. Maybe you need,
This is the whole episode. We
right?
put that down because I 100% agree. I was friends with my ex first. Like I met him when I was 15
Yeah.
and we didn't date until I was like 20, So like there was all that base. I'm like, I know the family.
Yeah.
I know, we're familiar with each
Comfortable.
other. Yes. It was a familiarity. Is that
Yeah.
a word?
Yeah. No, that totally is.
But now dating
Yeah.
the last few years, I'm thinking, well, I missed a major boat.
Yeah. No, I
That's
totally
fine.
agree.
That's just how
The
it
whole,
works.
the chemistry, all of that.
Yeah.
So getting back to why we started Uncharted Phases. Okay, so I had been kind of mulling around this thought process for like a year of, I mean, I feel like you were always willing to talk about it because I remember at one point I had said something on Instagram and you commented and I was having a completely horrible day and I just like spilled my guts. And the funny thing is and then I said, here's my number. And I was looking for a picture that you had sent me when we started planning this.
Yeah.
And I found this thread in our text of where I was like, life sucks. This is horrible, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And because there wasn't anybody that was going through it and talking about it.
Yeah, it's a quiet situation. And it took me seriously, like from the time I thought I was getting divorced, like I knew we were separated. It seriously took me over a year and a half to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
On social media.
Yeah.
To like have a conversation out loud that it happened because it's just a very quiet subject. Like everyone's like, oh, did you hear so-and-so's getting divorced?
Yeah.
But then no one talks to you about it. And it makes you feel even more secluded and even more lonely.
Yeah.
Because
No, I totally
people
agree.
are talking.
Yeah.
But behind
No, I
your
know.
back, it's so hard and sad.
You go to church and you get the, like, and like my face is telling you like, oh, you poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it made me not even want to go to church. But aside from that, so I'd kind of been thinking like, there's something missing. But I wasn't ready when I started thinking about this. And I knew it wasn't something I wanted to do alone. But then, I saw like, oh my gosh, you're vulnerable and you're talking about it. And it's true, like our experiences were very different.
Yeah.
So we talked about it in DM. I asked you to go to coffee. I asked you to Marco Polo with me, huh? That's what started.
That's Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have this crazy thought. And I thought for sure, like, she's going to un-Marco Polo and block me.
Yeah,
And you were like,
I was stoked.
yeah.
I was excited. I'm like, yes, it all sounds so fun. And I love like the creative side behind it and like having something fun in my life and something exciting again. So I'm like, heck yeah.
I know. And for me, like, literally in the middle of a breakup, not with my ex-husband, which we'll get to. And you were in the middle of a breakup, not with your ex-husband, which we'll get into. And it felt like this kindred spirit of like, I get it.
Which is like perfect because that's what this whole thing is for.
Yeah.
Is to have like people feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like whatever phase you're going through, you're not alone. There's so many people doing this exact same thing and feeling the exact same way.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is what's going to be fun is if people will like, I mean, we can tell our stories and all the things, the dating, the family, the dynamics.
How your family took it, how my family, co-parenting.
Everyone, your neighborhood friends, your friends, parents, everything.
So what made you feel like, I mean, because this is going on a public forum. So what made you feel like, okay, I'm not scared to say the good, the bad, the ugly, like here it is. Like what?
I would have done anything to have somebody that had like, some wisdom for me or has been like, yeah, I went through that same thing. Or, hey, this is how I did it. Like, honestly, if I just had someone at the very beginning when I was trying to do my divorce, sorry. Okay. When I was trying to do my divorce from the get-go, they just said, oh, I did that.
Yeah.
This is where I started. I would have felt like so much more peace.
Or normal.
Normal. Yeah. Just sometimes you just, you know how like the misery loves company, you know? Like,
100%.
it's the same thing. It's like when someone's in the mud with you,
Yeah, it just feels better.
Way less muddy.
Yeah.
It's like more fun.
Which, like, we'll get into that too, but you know, that was one of the, like, it depends on who you're in the mud with.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, you know, because I went from being in the mud to being in the mud, but my mud was way better than being in the mud with someone else.
You didn't want the mud with you.
Yeah.
100%.
And I was like, this is like, I don't know, we met for coffee and talked about it, and I was like, yeah, I can be in the mud with her.
Yes. And I was like, this is chatting. I feel like both me and you, we can just chat and chat.
Yeah.
Hopefully people want to listen to us chat.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, or if they don't, I don't care. I like chatting. This will be our therapy.
I'll listen to myself. Okay, so how many kids do you have? So like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we both know of each other, but I have 4.
Yeah, and I have 4 kids too. But I have all girls. You have different.
I have 1 girl. Our oldest girls are the same age.
Yeah.
And I have 3 boys.
Yeah, and how we originally met is I asked a neighbor, did she know I had a 3-year-old, and did she know anyone that taught preschool? And your youngest and my youngest were the same age. They were in preschool together. And you taught the preschool.
Yes, they were not in preschool together. They were in your
preschool together.
Yeah, I loved that.
And I will say, like, that's one of the things that I loved the most about you. And I mean, Max even thought of you like as a second mom. I mean, you know, I knew was going to need like that extra help, and she always had it from you, to the point that like even her second year in preschool, I had her going to both your preschools.
And I loved it. She was like
she went every day.
She was my best helper. She was a doll. I loved that. I did that for 6 years.
6 years teaching preschool.
Yeah. So how long have you lived here?
I've lived here 7.
Okay.
It'll be 8 in December. So yeah, 7 years. So we both were kind of relatively new to Texas, huh?
Yeah.
So what brought you guys to Texas?
My ex is in the military, and his unit was here, so we moved to Texas.
Yeah.
I think that's simple.
And did you think, because I remember when I first met you, you didn't even think you would be here as long as you ended up being here.
This is the longest we've ever been anywhere. Like everywhere else, we were for 2 years and 3 years, you know, and maybe a year and a half. And then we just ended up staying. So, and it was more of like the job situation. And also I was sad moving my kids over and over and over again. It finally was like a place they were settled. And I was like, you know,
let's not.
It's fine. We're here.
Yeah.
And Texas is full of lots of good people and endless opportunity and lots of good food.
Gosh, so much good food. That's a whole nother episode.
Yes.
Yeah, and for me, my ex got headhunted by a major airline.
I didn't realize that.
And so
they found him.
Yeah, and then he accepted the position, and we had never even been here. And so we came, and in 3 days we signed a contract to build a house, bought a car, got an apartment, and he started work a week later.
Yeah.
So,
and we just happened to be in the same area.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So 4 girls.
4 girls, 3. Well,
I have 1.
Yeah, you're lucky. It's traumatic, and yours is gone though. It's traumatic at my house.
Yes.
And your oldest is gone. Yeah. My oldest is gone.
Both our oldest.
Our kids are, I think, relatively the same age, right?
All my kids have birthdays this next month, so I'll have a 19, 17, 15, and 12.
So basically, and all of yours were at home when you went through your divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had all mine at home, and then that fall, Taylor moved. Taylor was 16. Yeah.
Like, no, we went to the thing.
They were
with our
home.
teenage daughters.
Yes. All alone. Jeez Louise. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so like obviously you're a single mom now. I'm a single mom now, which means we don't have the luxury of being the stay-at-home mom or even the, because I would say you were never a stay-at-home mom, and I'm only saying that from stalking your Instagram. But I was like, okay, if we're gonna do this, well, I should know.
I've been a stay-at-home mom,
but you've always had a side hustle.
I've had a side hustle.
Yeah,
but mostly I'll just let kids in my house. Like I'm like, oh, I wasn't even working back then.
Yeah,
like I did preschool 3 hours a day, which was still a lot. Well, high fitness.
That's what I was going to say. You've always stayed busy. Yeah. And why? Because you've always kind of wanted your own money, or because you felt the need to be a contributor? Like, what made you feel like you need to also be a provider?
Probably both. I think we lived a more comfortable life if there was a little bit of extra money flow, and I wanted some comfort, you know?
Yeah.
And also I don't know, like it was always the kids situation, like the preschool was like a passion of mine. It was just fun. My mom taught preschool. I have sisters that teach preschool. Like it's a comfort zone for us.
Yeah.
Like something fun. And I mean, who wouldn't want to work with kids all day? They just tell you they love you and you're pretty and you're like, great, thank you.
No, God bless people like you, because there's no way. There's no way. I would walk into your preschool when everyone was, you know, in check-in. Miss Melissa. I'm like, I don't know. See ya. God, like, good. May the powers that be like protect you. Can't.
Yeah. So no, I just mostly did it like as a side something to do, which I'm grateful for because honestly, when I was going through my divorce and all the last parts of my like marriage that were hard, that's what like gets you up and going and out of bed and doing the things you have to do, you know? And it was something that made me happy. And I feel like without that, I would have been, like without that just push to keep getting up every day, there would have been much sadder days.
No, I totally agree with that. And do you feel like it made it easier for you to feel like I can make my own money, I can figure this out?
I don't know. I've always struggled with that. I feel like just like feeling not like I could provide, but I feel like it's just because I've never even had a chance. This is the first time I've ever like lived on my own financially. Like I got married when I was 21. How old were you when you got married?
Same, 21.
21?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 21, like we both had like jobs, you know, but then I started having babies at 23 and I was just in my house. So like I've just never had that weight on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And so that was a whole new scary aspect.
Yeah.
To just be able to do it yourself. And you freaking always rock it with work.
God, you're so nice. I'm the same as you, though. I've always felt like I needed some kind of side hustle and some kind of independence.
Yeah.
And so I've always either I've had a project, I'm doing a project, or then I fell into accidentally my career, which for me, when we moved to Texas, you know, we'll get into this too in later episodes, but I kind of had seen the writing on the wall and knew that like this was the last ditch effort. And so I kind of, and I started to try to make that hobby a career.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I never knew when it started.
It started when Max was a year old and I got depression, just terribly, terribly bad. And I needed and again, this is a later episode conversation, but like for a lot of people, they feel fulfilled being a mom.
Yeah.
It didn't fulfill me. And I know maybe that's a terrible thing to say.
That's a lot of people I talk to have that, but it's just that other thing you don't talk about. You know? Like you just push that aside and you pretend like everything's fine. So I love when people are just honest with how it is.
I kind of just looked around with 4 kids and I was like, this can't be it. So I started building furniture for friends. And then I got a following, and then I got a company and a TV show and all this stuff that we'll talk about later. But so both of us have careers, full-time, single moms, working, doing the thing. So I would say, what do you feel like our goal is? Like when we met and we talked about it, what did we want the goal for why we're doing this to be?
I think what excited both of us is that we can be like not a middleman, but like some sort of like missing link of just helping people with resources and basic things. Like we are going to have people on the podcast that can help basic things like now what, you know, like where do I go here? And then also just from our experience, like my divorce, I did my divorce all by myself, and it was pretty simple. Like I can get along somewhat decent with my ex-husband,
that's
and
lucky.
yours was different. Like you had to use like high-end lawyers and fight for your kids and fight for your things.
It was a very contested,
it was long, so
high conflict, that's what they call
which is great for us because we both have a lot of information and I don't know, just experience that I feel like a lot of people could use or want to hear. And then I love that we can just go on from that, like the phases of which is like our whole Uncharted Phases, the different phases.
That's it. Perfect.
I mean, I don't know.
No, that really is it. And I felt like that's the thing that I wanted to be able to share and talk about was we're young enough that it is almost like a second shot at life isn't the right word, because I'm so grateful for my kids and I'm so grateful for my experiences. And, you know, a lot of people have asked me, like, do you regret it? And I regret getting married young, but I don't regret my life experiences because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in Texas. I wouldn't have a career. I wouldn't have had the opportunities. And so I can't say I regret it, but I can say that, again, another reason for this is like there's so many things I wish that I didn't have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
That there would have been a cheat sheet.
Or just people that can like offer advice of like, hey, maybe try this. I rely so much on everyday life situations of like, hey, what would you do? What would you do? Well, not in a really big, huge life phase. Yeah. Where is that? Where are the people that are saying, hey, try this? Or I mean, we see them all the time, like on Facebook groups or things where people are like, help.
That was one of the biggest now. Yeah, I would be in, I mean, I think we both belong to like one of the same ones on Facebook. And then there was a couple other. And there's constantly people asking or saying like, how do I do this? I don't know what to do. Yeah. And then you had friends that then started going through a divorce. I had 3 really good friends that then
reach out like,
and started asking. And I'm like, you know what? Why aren't we talking about it more? Why aren't we sharing it more?
Yeah. And then even so, like our divorces are done, right?
Yeah.
We're divorced. We're in total different phases.
Yeah.
But now we have new phases. Like the dating, like, I mean, so many different things.
Yes, now it's the dating phase. Is the job I got as soon as I got a divorce a job, a career? Like, where am I going? The retirement phase. Now you have to think about right the future financial planning phase.
Yeah.
The
where you're gonna shine. I'm like, I've got bigger fish to fry. I gotta figure out how to put food on the table this week.
I feel like with my divorce, I've become, I say like Scarlett O'Hara, because in Gone with the Wind, she sits on the stairs and goes, I'm not going to think about that today. I'll think about that tomorrow. And I feel like I've started to become that person that's like,
have to.
You pick and choose, like, you know what? I don't have room to think about that.
And that's just,
I can't.
That's where I feel like when you're going through huge life phases, like changes in your life, you're constantly worried about like, what's the end result? Or like, how am I going to get here?
Yeah.
But really? Like, you just got to take a step. You just got to do one next thing. And that's the only way I've made it through.
Yeah. Like thinking about it or reeling yourself back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend the other day that said, you know, she was having the hardest time, but the hardest thing for her is having to go out and fake it and be out with her friends and having to fake it. And I said, why? But why? Mm-hmm. Because that was the one thing that I learned going through my divorce was if there's ever a time to have a free pass, meaning a free pass of, you know what, I can't go out tonight. I can't turn it up tonight. Yeah. I actually just want to go to bed at 7 p.m. and I will see you in 24 hours, you know, or, you know what, I don't want to put makeup on today. Yeah. You know, like this is the time.
That's part of the new phase is then you find friends that can understand what you're going through. Yeah. And you can say, hey, I actually don't feel like going out. And they're like, great, we'll come meet you in. You know, we don't want you to be more lonely. We'll just come over and sit with you. Like things like that are so important.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So like we've already, we've given the sneak peek. We've talked about like, why did we start? We've talked about like who we are. Without going into the details, let's give everyone a sneak peek of like, if you subscribe, if you listen to Uncharted Phases, what are you going to get from us? Because we kind of have planned that a little bit, right?
We have some fun plans.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited. It's all hopefully going to go through. We've got some good social media stuff coming.
Yeah.
I love a good reel or a good save to go back on. And actually I print them out a lot of the times and put them on my walls.
Yeah.
Good content on social media. We want to do like a phase friend situation where like,
I'm excited
we're
for that.
there for people going through this hard phase. Like if you sign up for like our Uncharted Phases stuff, we'll send you out like some newsletters, some fun stuff that we've talked about, or some fun links to things that are helping. Like I get all the time, you know how your phone listens to you?
Yes.
Like, you know, like the apps. It's like, hey, you need this. You're like, how does it know that how does it know I need a therapy app?
I know.
So like just fun links to things that have helped us or just help us find more joy.
Yeah. And
like the text messages, I actually like the subscribe texting. I'm like get a like a daily encouragement text from us.
So we'll have our episodes. We've kind of decided, we're going to have weekly episodes where we're going to have different topics. We already have a couple guests lined up. I'm so excied for that. Then we'll have our Uncharted confessions. Yeah. So let's talk about that.
I'm most excited about.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified and excited and terrified at the same time, because I feel like sometimes, listen, like this is going to be raw and a lot of us not holding back.
Yeah.
But the things that we're going to get a little deeper with, the things that like, I don't really want my kids to hear that, or maybe my ex-mother-in-law to hear that, or my mother to hear that. So all that's going to be, if you're a member if you're a phase friend,
yeah,
and you're a member of our phase friendship, then you're going to get that bonus content, the Uncharted confession content.
You want to hear that?
Yeah. And that's
hear the nitty gritty.
Yes, that's the not suitable for my children stuff.
I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about my mom. Why? How come I'm worried? I don't know. I'm 40.
Patty. That's what I love. Our moms have the same name too. That's what's so crazy.
So weird. Wait, is your I or a Y?
Okay, we've talked, our moms have talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
My mom's and I.
My mom's and I.
Yes, and our moms bonded instantly when they asked each other that.
Patties with the eyes.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay. Well, anyway, yes. So excited.
Yeah, so all that's happening if you're a subscriber. Weekly episodes we'll have. It's not always just going to be us talking. So we'll have experts on. And then I'm even the most excited about, we're going to share with you like our books that we read, our products that we used, our, like all of it. What else? I'm trying to think. Oh, resources.
Resources, yeah. That will be super helpful. We'll have like some PDFs people can print off that will be like, hey, you want to try to get divorced by yourself without a lawyer? Here's a basic guideline,
Insane.
So there'll be helpful things like that, which also is a total missing link. Like, there's literally nothing. It's so confusing and hard. I remember the first time I downloaded the paperwork on my computer and I hit print and it was like a stack this thick. And I can't imagine filling them out. Like, I think this means I might sue him, but I'm just going to fill it out. I had no clue.
I didn't even know you could do that. So I can't wait to get into it and talk about that. And there's things that knowing your state and knowing that there's different legalities. Yes. Yep. I had no idea of that either. Yeah. So I'm excited
too. We're going to try to find fun friends to bring on who
I can't wait for that.
Have gone through divorces or who are in different phases. Maybe one that we haven't gotten to yet or something like that. I think is going to be so fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, well, so episode 1, this is why we're doing Uncharted Phases. Tune in because we're going to have weekly episodes. I'm so excited. And if you have
I'm excited that I have some girl time.
Oh, God. And I'm excited that I had a reason to, we have this podcast room, but it's in my house. So I'm excited that we had a reason to kick my kids out of the house.
Your girls would be so cute and quiet. My boys would be playing basketball and breaking holes through walls.
They would be sitting here making faces and distracting us.
That's
true.
Good. Girls, they all just want to be in on the conversation.
Yes, they want the tea. That's the problem. All right. So episode 2, actually, I think we decided we're going to drop the first 3 at the same time, right? Yeah. So we're already, tune into the next episode. What are we talking about on the next one? Your divorce story and my divorce story, huh?
We're going to interview each other.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is kind of fun. So
thanks for listening and listen to the next episode, which is coming up. Our story. Thanks. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an update. Just a quick reminder, everything we share here reflects our personal experiences and opinions. We're not legal experts, therapists, or even financial advisors. We're just 2 people navigating life and sharing what we've learned along the way.